Super. BS.
What up, my brosifs? It's me, itty bitty boy Branky Poo, and I'm joined by.
The big boy, Janky Poo.
Oh man, a big boy's on this show.
Big,
That's pretty
big
cool.
boy in the morning and in the afternoon, and just at all the times of the day that you happen to be listening. I am the big boy.
That's what you gotta be, bro. You're becoming a big boy because you just love that new Dune trailer, right? And you saw the ultimate big boy, Dave Bautista.
Yeah, and BOI, yes.
BOI. Yeah. What do you think of that trailer? You watch it?
I did, yeah. I liked it. I was a huge fan of Denis Villeneuve's last movie, Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that's his last movie. Like, I thought there was Arrival, that, and then it feels like quite a bit of time since Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about it. Like, he does these big old art pieces, so they take years to make. Dune has been filming for, I want to say they started production like 5 years ago, so it's been...
Yeah, man, I think it looks great. Did you ever watch the original, the 80s film?
Yeah, I do, but honestly, I don't remember enough of it to even, like, feel like I know what it is.
Yeah, I guess it's like a David Lynch joint, and it's got Sting in it. But I've heard it's pretty bad from everybody who watched it. They said it's almost impossible to follow.
So, I mean, I've heard that, and I know there's a ton of books. Like, there's a ton of Dune lore. So my hope would be much in like the same vein as Blade Runner, that he kind of organized things down to a more understandable level, but still gives you room to think about stuff.
Yeah, I loved Blade Runner 2049. It's a slow movie, so I would say the only issues I kind of have are pacing issues, and I don't think they're actual issues. They're just the way he likes to make his movie. It's kind of like not slow, but it is paced very slowly. It's not like a rushing action film. And for some odd reason, the scene that stays the most in my memory, and I don't think this is a spoiler at all because I can't even tell you what it means, is like Ryan Gosling's character is walking up and down, and there's like a toy horse, I want to say, he picks up in like a incinerator. I don't know why. I remember the audio being really poor at that moment. Like the audio was just like blasting in the theater, and so I'll like never forget that. But that was kind of the scene where I was like, man, maybe you could have cut this, but maybe it had some significance. I need to rewatch that movie.
Yeah, it does have significance, but go back and rewatch it. I've been wanting to rewatch it too. I just haven't had chance. I mean, you literally have to have 3 hours to sit down and watch it.
Yeah, it's so long, and it's wonderful, like really well acted and amazingly directed, but it's definitely, it's not like a Bond film or Mission Impossible or something, or Fast and Furious. You're not sitting there shutting your mind off and just watching things explode for 2.5, 3 hours.
That's his style of filmmaking, though. Like he makes things that make people think.
Oh, yeah. I think overall it's incredible. Like, I loved Arrival. Arrival is just wonderful. Yeah, man, but I'm really excited for then Dune. That's probably actually my most anticipated movie of the year is Dune. I just think it looks phenomenal.
Yeah, hopefully it keeps its November release.
Well, as you guys know, we are a Dune podcast. We do spoiler trailer reactions to Dune. These other podcasts have all been preliminary. We are now just about Dune till December. Then we'll start a post-Dune discussion cast, which is what we're all about here. Now, we are Super BS, and we are a podcast about video games mostly. Today we're going to talk a little about the games we've been playing, some crazy news stuff as the console generation is starting to get ignited and things are starting to pop off. And then we got a little bit of a topic for you at the end, a little quiz I'm going to give to Joshy Boy. Real quick, my Joshy Boy, what have you been playing?
So I have just been playing Spiritfarer. Been a slow week for me as far as games are. Like we said before the show, Super Mario's coming out. Really excited about that. I did get to a part in Spiritfarer where I realized, like, they won't let you just play the game. Like, you have to actually farm resources in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it is like a management sim.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not just the resources you need aren't just readily available. Like they full on pull like an Animal Crossing where you have to like do certain things or go somewhere at a certain time of day to get the resources you need to build certain things. And so they kind of like gatekeep you in that way, where if you don't have this structure on your boat, you can't get through to this next part of the map. So I don't know if I have the time to sit there and do stuff like that. So I'm like debating whether or not I want to finish it.
Oh, bummer. Okay, I do have one question.
Yes.
Has anyone gotten off your boat? Have you fared them to where they need to go or no?
No, they haven't given me that opportunity yet. So right now I need to create something. I need to build something so that somebody on my boat can build me something to allow me to break through some rocks. And the things I need aren't available. Like I have to do certain things to get them, and like that's what's keeping me from moving on.
Yeah, I've been wanting to go back, but at the same point, because it's a management sim, and I've just kind of been in like this weird funk of kind of waiting for Mario. I'll talk about a few of the other things I've been playing, but kind of just like tooling around with different things. It just hasn't sounded like the most fun experience. Like it's kind of like Red Dead Redemption 2 in some ways to me. Like I really want to go back to that. I know that game's incredible. I played a lot of it. It has moments that can be considered fun, but there's a lot of stuff to do to get to the fun every time you turn it on. And it's just, I don't know if I want to sit there to get to that fun.
Yeah, it's that busy list that a lot of games give you. I do have, like, I've been wanting to play Greedfall. I just bought that not too long ago.
Oh, yeah. I barely got to the beginning in that. I need to, like, play that more, too. There's a bunch of stuff. So Spiritfarer has been yours. I'll run through the things I've been playing because most of this podcast is going to be news. I finished Tony Hawk 1 and 2. And by that, I mean, I finished all of the challenges with one of the skaters as well as getting all the stat points. I unlocked one of the hidden characters, and I got most of these hidden token things that you find. I didn't get all of them because I don't know what they do, so they're just seem pointless, and they're not even shown on the level, so you don't even know when you're really collecting them. So you kind of just have to remember. So I haven't really been focusing on that. I love the game. It's incredible. It's how a 1-for-1 remake should be because it plays on like, hey, this is how you remember Tony Hawk playing. But it looks like a modern game. You know, it's wonderful, beautiful, tons of fun. They do one thing that kind of made me frustrated / made me angry, which is in the original Tony Hawk, you could play through the game with each skater and do all the challenges and do all the skill points or stat point upgrades, and then you get the video, right? The way this one works is, I think Dr. Donna said you redo the competitions, but otherwise, once you finish the challenges, like collect 5 skate in every level, it's done for every character. So if you're like me and you finish the game with, or you finished all of the challenges with your created skater and you're, done and you want to have more to play, but you don't really want to jump in online multiplayer just because it's not what you really want to do. Your options are do the new challenges that they've made, which are just so tedious. To give you an example of one, there's one which is land a 25-point combo without grinding. So, or not 25 point, a 25 move combo. Like you have to do 25 different moves, but none of those moves can be a grind. So essentially that means you have to manual kickflip, manual kickflip, manual kickflip 25 times to be able to get, and that's a lot, you know what I mean? Like 25 times in total between it. But it looked like you had something you wanted to ask when I was talking about this stuff.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, do you think we'll get a 3 and 4 remake? Because I know after 4 that franchise kind of fell, in favor.
I love Thug, which is the game that came after 4. I think that is incredible. I'd love a Thug 1, Thug 2. I've never played Tony Hawk American Wasteland. That's one where you also get on bikes. Like, I'd also be down to try that at some point. Thug is the one where you could get off the board. I would absolutely love 3 and 4. I'm hoping it comes sooner rather than later. I'm guessing, though, we're going to get like a Crash deal where like Crash 1 through 3 came out in June. Crash Team Racing came out the following June. So I don't think we're going to get Tony Hawk 3 and 4 this year or even early next. I think it would be maybe September of next year at the earliest. But man, I hope they put all this stuff out. I want to play more Tony Hawk, but I just don't really have a lot to do outside of these incredibly difficult, tedious challenges that I think you can only pin one on your screen at a time. So you're like, okay, I can do that. It's really, really difficult. So yeah, it's whatever. It's me complaining about something small that really doesn't matter. It's a great game. It's for $40. It's literally insanely good.
Yeah, I do want to play it.
Yeah, I mean, we're both excited to pay $60 to play Mario that's essentially not been touched up. And these games have been completely remade, and it was $40 for two of them. It's literally the exact same price as the Mario games are, $20 a piece. Yeah. And these are, I mean, there is so much to this. Like, if I really wanted to get in the online modes or the split screen, there's just tons that you can do. But they did lock out one of the things I did like to do, which is, redo the challenges with all the characters. Can't do that anymore. The other games I've been playing, and I'll go over one of them real quick. I talked about Wasteland 3 quite a bit on the podcast last week before. I like it. I did fall off. Same thing happens always in a lot of these games. They'll give you a lot of choices, and the choices will be, oh, somebody wants you to go kill these people, and the other person wants you to go kill these people. And if you choose one or the other, locks you out of a bunch of stuff. And that stuff gets so stressful for me that it doesn't become fun anymore, like choosing between one of three options and they all block out all the other options. And so I think my time with Wasteland 3, between the bugs, the long load times, and these just stressful choices, I think I'm done. I love that game. I think it's incredible, but they just need to give on one of those few areas, and I don't think it's going to be patched anytime soon. So
yeah, is it still getting support?
I hope. I mean, I don't think it's been patched once since it released, I think it was, the end of August, so about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
It's really, really fun, and there's a ton of things I love about it, but yeah, like I said, it's just a mix. I mean, the stressful options are really what kills it for me, but if they had the other two things going where it's like, oh, you could at least reload quickly, or, oh, your characters wouldn't get, like, stuck or have some weird bug, and it's easier to get around the menus, then maybe I could stomach the fact that it's like, oh, okay, if I choose this, I'm going to have to look on a guide because this will totally change the whole game. You know what I mean? Like, or I don't look at a guide and I potentially throw away the other 14 hours I've played. So that's the thing that's hard for me. So I don't know how you feel about that stuff in games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like looking up on the internet how to do things, but I also don't have the time, that I used to just kind of sit there and like play with it infinitely. So I'll usually like sit at something for a couple hours and then I'll break down, start using Google. But no, I get you, man. I get the frustration.
You know what a perfect example of that is? Mass Effect 2. Do you remember the ending for that game? That's a game where I had a friend go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say that's the one where you had to, well, all of them you have to pick something in the end, right? You have to pick to save somebody or kill somebody.
Kind of. There was a last mission you had to run, and this is my memory from 10 years ago. A last mission you had to run, and you had to choose which members to take with you. And you had to first do like all of the companion quests and stuff so they wouldn't just die immediately. But you'd have to choose the characters to take with you, and if you chose the wrong combination, there was like a certain amount that could be right and a certain amount that could be wrong, then characters would die. And it's a really cool, interesting thing, but like I didn't want any of my characters to die. So I used an online guide. I had a friend, I think, who had finished it and told me, this is the characters you have to use. Stuff like that is cool, but at the same time, when you've played for 40 hours of a game and they do that to you at the very end, it's like, oh, you chose Thane and Samara. Sorry, they don't get along very well. They both die. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't love that idea. And a lot of games want to do that for replayability, and I'm all for replayability. I like the way Mass Effect 1 did replayability the most. Like, oh, you choose these things. You know what I mean? You choose, like, oh, I'm going to choose the dude or the girl. You know what I mean? Or I'm going to choose to shoot, I can't remember, what's the Krogan's name in 1?
Rex.
I'm going to choose to fight him, or I'm going to choose to talk it out peacefully, like, there's stuff there that I still think I like the most in 1, but yeah, I mean, 2's an incredible game. That's just like a beef with me in some games where it's like, I'll put up with it in The Witcher, but a lot of The Witcher I am playing with a guide, which is not my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, well, we talked about that with Gears 5, remember, with the having to make that decision at the end of the game. Yeah, I mean, I can't stand that kind of thing. With Mass Effect, I know what they did do right was like, hey, if you do these loyalty missions, then, your odds are a little better. So that was at least like something, but it still was
I
not
liked Yeah, I like that, and I definitely would have been more happy with it. And sorry, we're talking about a 10-year-old game now. I would have been more happy with that idea, though, if that was like, do the loyalty missions, then you have like a 95 or a 90% chance that everybody lives. But if I remember correctly, the way Mass Effect 2 works is you do the loyalty missions, then you have to choose the right combination. And because you've done the loyalty missions, you can choose, like, say there's 12 party members. You can choose 6 of them. Those 6, if these 6 are together, then, you're fine. But it's like, oh, you are stupid or you didn't read online? Well, then these guys all die. Anyways, that is Wasteland 3. That's why I'm not playing it, and that's why I picked up Divinity Original Sin 2. I had some friends who played that on PC. It was on sale. It's like one of the all-time RPGs. It is essentially like playing a digital D&D campaign. It's cool. I think it would be a lot of fun with friends. I'm not having a lot of fun by myself. I don't love PC games, and it's just so intensive when it comes to just reading. I mean, there's just so much story and lore, and it's cool. It's really, really neat. There's a lot you can do. But yeah, I think I'm going to wait and try it out with some friends and get back to you. The last thing I have been playing that I want to talk about, just because it's actually the thing I've been playing the most, is Hotline Miami Collection on Switch. Did you ever play those games?
No, I did not. I remember seeing trailers and videos for them. I just never had any interest in them.
They are a lot of fun. I don't think we were doing the podcast during this time, but there was a game I think that came out last year, Katana Zero on Switch, and it was like a very similar. It was a 2D Hotline Miami style game. You essentially have one life. If anybody shoots you or you do anything else, you die. That's how Hotline Miami is. There is no slow motion in this at all, so you just kind of have to be perfect in your stuff. But it's essentially like a puzzle. It's a puzzle room mixed with like some action. So you can aim, you can pick up guns, pick up whatever. Everybody dies in one hit, you die in one hit. You know what I mean? Like if you have a punch, you don't kill anyone. If you got a crowbar, you kill them in one hit. If you got a gun, depending on the gun, it's one hit death for
Yeah.
It's good. I picked it up, I think, for like $10 a couple years back. Whenever it came out on Switch, like really quickly, it went down. That game is incredible. If you ever get a chance, you should play it. It still holds up really, really well. It's a lot of fun. Is there anything else that you want to talk about in the gameplay section before we get to this massive news?
Yeah, not particularly. I mean, I'm hoping to play a little more games this week, but we'll see. Yeah,
and sorry that I just ranted there, listeners. There was a lot of stuff to talk about. We are about to get into some crazy news. We'll be back in a second. Super BS. Okie doke. We're back now with the news. Ubisoft released a Ubisoft Forward, I want to say last Thursday, right? I want to say September, probably the 10th. I want to say the 10th.
I thought it was either, was it Thursday or was it Wednesday?
I'm not sure, but I believe it's September 10th. So It doesn't really matter. It came out already. Doesn't matter the date. Here's the news from it. But I believe it was September 10th. So I'm just going to go over the 4 big talking points. If there's something else that stuck out to you that I missed, just let me know and we'll catch that as well. Anyways, Ubisoft announced that Scott Pilgrim was coming back to consoles. It was a River City Ransom style beat 'em up on 360. Did you ever play it?
The old Scott? No, I did not, but I did play River City Ransom, so I mean, it does sound interesting.
Yeah, that's a good game. A lot of the people who I've read in the comments are kind of posting it is neat that it's coming back, but River City Girls came out last year, and supposedly that's kind of like a better version of all of these things, because Scott Pilgrim was, in my recollection, one of the earlier ones to have like leveling up and all that stuff be common in the 4-player beat-em-up space.
Wait, sure. So they're doing a sequel after all these years? They're doing a true sequel to River City Ransom?
No. Scott Pilgrim was released on 360 as a beat 'em up. It was delisted, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, so you could not purchase it. It was taken off all the storefronts. And so now they're re-releasing it for modern consoles. Yeah. So that's all they're doing.
Okay.
And that game is like a River City Ransom style game.
Got it.
But They did a pseudo spiritual sequel to River City Ransom called River City Girls. That came out last year.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was asking. Because River City Ransom was actually a lot of fun, so I was really surprised they never even talked about remaking the game or re-releasing it.
You know, they've done it a lot of times. They've actually remade River City Ransom on a bunch of stuff, and then they have games. I cannot remember, but they have games that are exactly like it too. Oh, and by the way, Scott Pilgrim was actually delisted in 2014. So it's been 6 years. So yeah, you haven't been able to play that game in a long time if you liked it. That was kind of neat news. I love the graphic novels. I don't know if you've read them.
Yes,
Scott Pilgrim is pretty great.
Yeah, the movie's good too.
Yeah, I like the movie a lot. They did announce that Aiden Pierce would be in Watch Dogs Legion with his own set of quests and stuff. So
wait, Aiden from the first game?
Yep.
Oh,
He's gonna be there.
Wow,
yeah, so I don't know. Hopefully T-Bone will be in there too, right? Isn't that one of the guys' names?
Oh, I don't know. It's been so long, but I mean, I enjoyed my time with Watch Dogs 1. Never got around to playing Watch Dogs 2. I don't know if that speaks well about the franchise, but yeah, I am looking forward to Legion.
Yeah, I think Legion will be fun. Yeah, there's a guy named T-Bone from Watch Dogs 1. He's also in Watch Dogs 2. I have a feeling he will be in Watch Dogs Legion. He has dreadlocks, and he's a hacker like everybody in those games.
Yeah.
You probably remember him. He had a kind of a large role in the first game. Ubisoft announced and showed a large trailer for Gods and Monsters, which was a great name and a really cool looking game. It has now become Immortals Phoenix Rising. They ended up using the character designs from Sudeki, the old original Xbox RPG. So really plastic looking, red haired, terribly designed looking thing now. Hoping it's fun.
That animation style seems to be really popular with people these days.
I don't know why. It looks horrible.
Yeah, I'm not too excited, especially when I think about Ubisoft, I think about big open worlds, Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs. This feels smaller to me. It feels very less mature and less open, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it was supposed to be a kid's game, and for that, I was totally cool with it. But they changed the protagonist to make her her. I think it's customizable, so it can be boy, girl, whatever. But to make them more mature and heroic. But I liked the old looking Gods and Monsters. It was just a fun looking thing. The trailer for this game still looked neat, so I'm still excited to play it. But I just think the art design is not good. I'm looking at a picture for Immortals Phoenix Rising, and honestly, if you would have told me it was Orcs Must Die or Fortnite or whatever else is out there, I would have said, okay, yeah, sure. That's one of those games. It's kind of like that, just generic-y, everybody does it nowadays look.
Right.
And then the fourth thing, and this is probably the biggest thing that came out of the entire forward, was they are remaking Prince of Persia Sands of Time for modern consoles. And I think this will probably be, what is it called? Xbox Series X and PS5 will probably be what it launches on, but maybe it will also come to Xbox One and PS4 as well.
So all right. So I was a huge fan of the Prince of Persia reboot they did on the 360. With all the I've talked about that with all the watercolors and all that. Really disappointed they never. It was a fun game and they never went back to it. But as for Sands of Time, I'd like to play it. I did enjoy the game back. It came out in 2003 if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was 2002 is the number coming to mind, but let's see actually, because you're thinking that release date. I think it's going to be 2003. You're right.
Okay,
I was wrong. Okay, so 2003.
Yeah, so I mean, I remember it being fun. I just don't. I don't remember it being an experience that I was in a hurry to go back to. And I look at the video for it that they showed. It looks okay, but it still looks. It doesn't look much like a remake. It looks like it's just kind of reskinned. All the rough edges of an Xbox game are still there. It's just the color palettes are a lot brighter and it looks a little more sharp or a little sharper, but I mean, it doesn't look like it's any huge improvement, especially for something that's going to be released onto a next-gen console.
Yeah, honestly, for me, it looked like a remaster. I would go so far, because I think it looks bad, I would go so far as say it looks like an up-res. I just don't think it looks good. I think they did a really bad job at doing a remake. Like, I haven't played it yet, so maybe it plays better and maybe it's, even more fun, but it doesn't look good from what they showed. So if they want us to be excited for like this good-looking remake, especially right after Tony Hawk came out, after Resident Evil 2 remake came out, after all these other good remakes come out, and then you show this, like, I don't know. I mean, whatever. A lot of people are saying that Ubisoft's lazy. I don't know about that, but this definitely is not a good-looking remake. So,
yeah.
We'll see, man. Any other news stand out for you from the conference? Honestly, I watched most of it, and I didn't see anything I really liked.
And I'm always excited about Assassin's Creed Valhalla stuff because I'm really excited about that game. So, but
I don't think they did that though. For this,
they talked about it briefly. I thought, unless that was just another video I saw.
I skimmed it, and they kept having ads, which was really annoying. Ads for their own games that are already out in between these really long segments. So it was like kind of frustrating to watch. If I'm being honest, it was 2 hours. Should have been 30 minutes.
Yeah,
like it was not a good conference. But anyways, you were saying besides Assassin's Creed.
So what I felt was missing from this conference was Beyond Good and Evil. So that was something I keep expecting to see, and they're not talking about it at all. Never going to happen. And all of a sudden, quietly under the radar, Skull and Bones is now becoming like a pirate RPG.
I don't know. They wouldn't show that one either. But you're
but
right.
I saw the same day that was released, the articles started popping up. Online about it. So they didn't actually show video for it, but I mean, there are people, I guess, talking through interviews with these people that it is still slated to come out, but it's becoming a different game than it was originally planned to be.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing that kind of stood out for me, and I didn't love, I like the Trials games, or I used to like the Trials games, so this kind of stood out, was the Riders Republic, which looks like it's a mix between Trials and like Steep. Looks kind of like a 3D-ish thing, but I don't know how it plays. But, they had a VR Far Cry, talked some of their stuff about Rainbow Six Siege. They had to tell us about Just Dance because, we didn't have an E3 for them to have people dancing at. Yeah, man, I just think overall it was lame. But luckily, it's not the only news we had this week. I want to say before this happened, there was leaks that the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X were going to come out November 10th, and that they were going to be $300 for the Series S and $500 for the Series X. They delivered. That leak was 100% true. The next day they announced the Series S. The following day after that, they announced the Series X. They are coming out November 10th. Just some quick stuff. The Series S has a 512 gigabyte hard drive. It will not be able to do anything natively 4K, but it is a better processor, it sounds like, than what's in the Xbox One X. But graphically, it's not as good as that because the Xbox One X can do 4K stuff. And then the Series X has a terabyte hard drive. It's the most powerful console on the market. Yada, yada, yada. It's $500 coming out November 10th. What do you think when you saw these things before we start talking about their lineup?
I mean, it was the announcement was disappointing. I think the price points are okay. I mean, $299 sounds fine. $499 sounds fine. The announcement was disappointing. So I look at it now and I see, oh, hey, it was a leak, but still I feel like Microsoft could have held off on confirming or denying any of that until they put some kind of video together to kind of show, give us a glimpse of the next gen. Meanwhile, Sony is about to have their video conference this Wednesday, and so they're going to actually have a platform to make these big announcements and go, show you, put a face to the product and show us what it does and all that stuff. So I like the prices. I hope that Microsoft still does some kind of video thing to tell us, like, hey, what's coming out at launch? What can we expect? Originally, it was Halo, but now that it's only, like, from what I understand, it's only Valhalla, Gears, Tactics, and a couple other things have really been confirmed. And, outside of Gears Tactics, you can play the other stuff on an Xbox One. So, like, right now I'm having a hard time, like, justifying even considering getting one of those.
Yeah, so Gears Tactic will also be playable on Xbox One. Every game will be playable on Xbox One that's coming out. And that's part of their thing, right? That's part of their spiel. It has been for a long time. I kind of agree with you. They did release the video for the Series S. I think the Series S looks really nice. I don't know if I hate the fan like a lot of people on the internet do. I don't think it looks great, but I don't hate it. And I get why they have it. It is the smallest console they've ever launched. Just to give you a list of their launch titles, and I'll tell you what's exclusive or console launch exclusive, kind of, whatever that means. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is not exclusive, but that's coming out launch day. Watch Dogs Legion comes out technically like 2 weeks before, but that will also come out to Xbox Series X or have a Series X version. The games I'm not sure are console launch exclusive are Dirt 5 and the Falconeer. I don't know what those are at all. And then the ones that are launch exclusive, but it's also tricky because they're coming to Xbox One, at least as far as I know. Gears Tactics, that's coming to Xbox One as well, same day. And Tetris Effect Connected, which is the multiplayer version of the game that came out 2 years ago that everybody loved, the VR game for PS4. And Yakuza Like a Dragon, which will have already released on PS4 and Xbox One either before this or on that same day. But it's not going to PS5 for a bit, at least.
Okay.
So those, I'm sorry, I'm just doing some quick addition. Those 7 titles, I think there's like maybe 1 or 2 I didn't add as well. That's it. That's like the stuff coming to your Series X. I don't know if anybody else has upgrades ready that day. I don't know if the Series X, how well it will upgrade that stuff just natively, like if it's going to make those things just pop the second you put it in, you know. There's a lot of stuff we don't know.
It's disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really expect a ton. I think it's still, you know, I think Sony's going to have a hurdle to go lower than $500 for the PS5. I think that's an incredible price point. But like you said, there's no reason for me to buy it. I'm going to play Gears Tactics on my Xbox One X through Gamespass on November 10th. Super excited. I just don't know why people would buy it. And the Series S it sounds like marginally better than the Xbox One X, which isn't, you know, $300 isn't a bad price. But you know what I mean? Like it's not that much better. So I wouldn't spend $300 on something that I have already.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith that Sony's gonna like release something that makes me go, yeah, I'm gonna spend that money. But, you know, I mean, to be honest, Microsoft hasn't done a great job of selling it either outside of the price point. I think what Microsoft's really hoping is all these services that they have are going to add up, and they just have a ton of services lining up for them. They also announced that xCloud Gaming would be starting soon, and by the time you listen to this, xCloud Gaming will have launched. It launches on September 15th. It's 172 games that will be part of Gamespass that will be launching on it.
And you can't play it on iOS, correct?
No iOS, no computers yet. It is only available on Android right now. So it will probably be available on computers as well as Series S and Series X and everything if you want to stream it instead of download stuff. It's probably coming to everything, but we just don't know when. I still think it's an amazing thing just to add that to Gamespass. Like Stadia, you have to buy the individual titles. Like I think you're also supposed to pay a premium fee as well. This is just like, hey, here's this cool thing we're adding to your service. The other thing they announced they were adding as well, which is another point Xbox favor, is that they bought up EA Play's library for Games Pass. So now if you sign up for Games Pass, I don't know when it, you know, goes into effect, but you will also get all of the games that are in EA Play, which is like, you know, all the Mass Effect games, everything that's in their vault. You used to get 10 hours of free time to play a game when it launched out, like a 10-hour demo. That's actually how I got Dragon Age Inquisition early and played it for quite a bit. It's a great thing. EA Play was, I want to say, $5. And I feel like EA Play isn't the name of it, but that's what I found online. Let's see. No, it's called EA Play. I guess my memory is just bad. But anyways, you would get a bunch of stuff, pretty much. You know what I mean? You're going to get like a bunch of games. Mass Effect, all that stuff will now be free as part of Games Pass.
Yeah.
And that's an incredible deal. That's normally $30 a year or $5 a month. And you know, if you have Games Pass, you have it now. Or whenever it goes into effect, I mean. What do you think about that? Are you excited for that, at least? Any of these services, the xCloud, all that other stuff?
Yeah, the xCloud sounds fun. As for EA Play, I mean, like I have all the games from EA that I want to play, but I mean, I guess like I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind browsing and seeing what's on there. There's nothing like right now. I got a hankering to go back and revisit.
I mean, did you play Titanfall 2?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because that will be on there. I used the service quite a bit when it came out to like try games before I bought them, and then you would also get 10% off those games. I don't know if they're going to do that with part of this service, because that would be just insane to get the 10% off the games plus the 10-hour trials plus all the games in the vault. Like, I don't know if they're going to do that, but yeah, I mean, heck, I might like download a Madden and play it for the first time in a long time. I mean.
Yeah.
No problem not. I might also play Star Wars Battlefront 2, a game I've almost picked up lots of times in the past for like $8, but now it's like, it's part of their vault. I might play it, might try it out. Yeah, man. And then just to keep this on the coming generation of consoles, like you mentioned, PlayStation 5 has a press conference. It will probably be finished. Well, no, for sure. It will be finished by the time you listen to this. So we apologize. It's going up on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. I normally put this podcast up by about 3 on Wednesdays. So, yeah, I'm excited. I hope they do a good job. A lot of people are saying they still have hidden reveals. Like a lot of industry insiders have said that they still have like maybe like Demon Souls. The remake is going to launch with the new console or around by December. There's still a lot of rumors floating around it.
Yeah.
So that there's some surprises left. I'm still thinking it's going to cost $600. Do you have any thoughts on what that price might be?
Yeah, well, I was thinking around $599 just because that's PlayStation is bold and they've never been afraid to like hit that high price point. Will it work coming out of the gate? That's a whole other question. I know PS4 was fine, but the PlayStation 3 was notoriously buggy. So I'm curious just to see how this new console is coming out, especially since Sony themselves in their own like talks about it in the past 6 months didn't seem to be very confident in it.
Well, I don't think that they're not confident, but they did mention the word aspire to own it, which makes me think like, hey, this is going to be a hefty fee for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. If they hit at 600, we'll see what happens. They do have a crazy fan base right now, and I legitimately mean insane fan base because I've read some of their comments, and these people are treating this like a political campaign and like it will affect their lives if Sony destroys the competition or not. I don't know how many people invested or just how many of them love Sony. But anyways, regardless of that, like, yeah, I mean, if it's at 600, I'm sure it will still sell out. But I think a lot of the casuals who just want to play Call of Duty in the best resolution possible, I think that would be a big win in Microsoft's favor. Now, what the real question is if they launch at 500 and their discless version comes in at 400 or 450, I think 450 is more likely, but people have been guessing 400. Will the Series S at 300 still help them out? Will that extra $100 push people over to Microsoft instead of Sony?
Yeah,
That's the thing I don't know.
I would hope so. I mean, a lot of gamers game on a budget, so unless you're like a diehard Sony fanboy, which there seem to be thousands of out there, I feel like the Xbox might be the better route to go. If the price is right.
I think if price is a factor for anybody, I think Microsoft is the console to go for just because the Games Pass as a service is so powerful and so good that you essentially only need to pay for that, and you're going to get like 6 to 8 games a month normally from that service. Not all of them are great, but whatever. And then there's like 150, probably more than that, games on the service right now. So at some point it's like, yeah, if you're worried about a budget, you're probably going to go Microsoft anyways because you got Games Pass. But, I mean, Sony has Marvel's Spider-Man, Miles Morales, whatever DLC thing coming out this year, and maybe they'll have another title too. So they have the exclusives, right? That's what everybody always says. Well, Sony's got the exclusives.
Yeah.
And Microsoft does have a lot of exclusives, but for, popular opinion goes that Sony's exclusives are better. So whatever, I'm interested to see what's going to happen, man. I think this is going to be a weird launch window, launch season, console generation launch, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be weird. Even if you don't just take this year into account with all the the craziness. It's just the prices are high. This is some of the highest price stuff I've seen for a long time. So we're gonna find out who makes the budge, because somebody like me who bought an Xbox One X for $350, I don't want to spend $500 ever again on a console. So if PS5 comes out at $600, then I need to wait for at least $200 to be knocked off before I even consider it.
Yeah.
And I don't think the discless version is going to be that cheap. I think it's going to be like $50 cheaper. I don't think a disc drive costs that much money that they would sell it for less than or for more than $50 off.
No, probably not.
But the one thing that a lot of people put in the favor, and the one speculation I will say that is some of the people like, oh man, they're going to do this, is the Xbox Series S and the PS5 discless version forces people to be in the ecosystem of that console, and every game purchased on those consoles digitally, the platform holder get 30% of that, and there are no used sales, nothing that those people can get around. So,
interesting.
If people can stomach the loss, like if Sony can stomach the loss, and it definitely seems like Microsoft has, then this may be a way to make a lot more money in the grand scheme of things.
It also shows a lot of good faith towards the developers too. Like that would, if I were developing, I would want to work for somebody who would do that for me.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's going to be an interesting time for sure. To round out the news with something a little bit less kind of, I don't know, crazy, because the new generation is just, it doesn't feel like it's here. It honestly doesn't feel like in 2 months there's going to be another console cycle, just because it's been such a weird launch cycle, like news cycle. There's just been no big conference that we watch somebody stand up on a stage, show the thing, and say, hey, here's the price, here's when you buy it, here's the games, boom, boom, boom. There's not been that yet. So we'll see if Sony delivers this week.
Yeah.
But it's been weird. Seth Rogen and his buddy Evan Goldberg, I want to say is his name.
Yeah.
They did Superbad. They are, I think, just producing, but they're producing a Console Wars semi-doc for CBS. Console Wars is that famous book about Nintendo and Sega in the 90s.
Yeah, I saw. I saw a headline for that. I didn't actually read it. What is it? Is it a Netflix thing? Is it just?
It's CBS.
Okay.
So CBS All Access, but it's a documentary. It's like a show. It will probably be very similar to Netflix's High Score, the doc that you mentioned. Yeah, so it's going to be very similar to that, but it's going to be about the relationship between Sega and Nintendo. I read up quite a bit about the book. It sounds like a lot of people disagree with the book itself, which it's based on, Console Wars. I guess it really favors Sega. I guess there's some maybe factually incorrect things. I haven't done the research. I don't know. This looks interesting. If it's only on CBS All Access, I will never watch it. But I thought it's, something that people might enjoy. So...
yeah, so it's based on the book, and this will be out when?
I don't know when it comes out, but you know what the subject matter is, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good. So it's about, Nintendo and Sega. It's of America's rise to power against them. This is called Console Wars CBS show. I'm going to do this work for you, listener. All of you listeners, I'm doing this for you. Let's see if I can find somebody that will let me read their article real quick. It looks like it doesn't even tell you a date. So I don't know, man. It's probably coming out September 23rd. There we go. Boom. September 23rd. So if you are very interested, you can listen to this in like a week and a half by the time this goes up, 1 week from that day. Before we get into the topic, did you have any little newsy pies that you thought were really interesting that happened this week?
I mean, we pretty much hit everything. We talked about Ubisoft, and we're talking about Microsoft, and
all the softs.
All the softs, man. All the
Microsoft,
softs and all the Sonys. Microsoft, Ultrasoft.
Soft Serve. I'm a big fan of that.
Softball.
Softball, yep.
All the softs.
We're all about that. This is a soft show, as you all know. We just rebranded to video games. Okay, so you better get your thinking cap on, because the topic this week ain't no topic. It's a quiz. It's about console launches. Are you ready?
Oh my goodness! All right, let's hear it.
Okay, there are going to be 15 points, but there are actually 19 points possible. So all you have to do is get 15 to get 100%, but there are 19 points possible. This is one of those multiple extra credit quizzes, okay? You can do this.
All
you
right.
Get it. Get these bonus points.
All right.
Okay. Which console released in North America on September 29th, 1996? Dun, 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 dun,
PlayStation.
dun, dun. Boo! No, that was Nintendo 64.
Oh.
PlayStation was a whole year earlier in 95, man. Gotta get with the picture, brah.
Jeez. All right.
Okay, 0 for 1. Let's go to the second question. Which console released in North America on 9/9/99?
Dreamcast.
Yay! Bing, 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 bing. I thought you get that one. That one's such a... Did you get that when it came out, the Dreamcast?
I did. Yeah, I had it. Crazy Taxi, man.
9/9/99, man. Like one of my favorite days ever. My dad got it early in the morning, came home with Sonic Adventure and Bass Pro Fishing or whatever it was. The game where you had the... that was good. That was a really good game.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here's a question for you. What is the highest selling home console today? This is the console that sold the most.
Mm-hmm. I want to say the PlayStation 2.
Bing, 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 bing. You got it. Hooray.
Okay. All right. Woo.
Okay. 2 out of 3, my man. Okay. This one's going to be a little bit harder, though. Which console launched at the highest price point? And this is, you got to remember, these are all home consoles. You might remember this as a kid. This is the one I remember.
Sega Dreamcast, not Dreamcast, Saturn, right? Is this?
No, this is a really hard one. I'll give you one more shot because it's so hard.
PlayStation.
Don't think about the major people.
Okay.
I'm going to give you that. That's the last hint I will give you if you can get it. This is not one of the biggies, but this was a console that launched.
Atari 2600.
No. That's the buzzer. Bad buzzer. The good buzzer. Bing, 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 bing. It's the 3DO. The 3DO. Yeah, man. Okay, so you're 2 and 4. That was a hard one. I was wondering if you get it. You don't remember like wanting one of those to play? I want to say Metal Slug was one of the big 3DO titles. I remember wanting it so bad. It launched at $700.
That's crazy expensive.
Yeah, $700 in 90s money, man. I want to say it was 93.
Yeah,
it's insane. I want to say it's
90s money. That's
it's
like
$1,200 today.
Yeah, it's like 1,000 Monopoly dollars.
Yeah. 90s money is totally different from today's money. Okay, now I'm going to take it a little bit more onto stuff that you should know that's kind of a little bit more relevant to our news. What price did the original Xbox launch at?
$399.
Oh, burp. $300. $299.
That's what.
Okay.
That's, okay.
You just have to give me the month and the year. When did it launch? Bonus points if you can give me the what year?
Okay, hold on. I got to think back because it came out when I was in the 8th grade.
Okay, do some basic math.
What year was
really
that?
Basic, just some crazy basic easy math. Stuff a toddler could do. Just do that toddler math for me real quick.
Oh, thank you.
Beep boop boop. Okay, you got this,
hold on,
man.
Thinking.
Dun 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 dun.
2000.
Oh, burp. 2001, man. November,
I was one off.
November 15th, 2001. Okay.
Okay.
What price did the 360 launch at? The Xbox 360.
$399.
Bam! That's also a bad buzzer. $299.99, my man. $299.99. Okay, when did the Xbox 360 launch? Bonus points if you can get the month, day, and the year, but if you can get the month and the year, I'll give it to you.
2004.
What month?
November.
Okay, I'll give you half a point. It was November 22nd, 2005. So you were 1 year off.
1 year off.
So November 22nd, 2005. The original Xbox launched November 15th, 2001. Okay, what price did the Xbox One launch at? This is very recent, 7 years ago.
That was $399 for sure. I remember paying
Good Lord, my man. Good Lord. $499.99. Come on.
I paid that much money for it?
Yeah, it came with a Kinect. You don't remember that was the reason why they lost. They had all the people from 360, and then it was $500, and everybody's like, I'm going to buy a PlayStation 4 for $400.
Yeah, I remember I bought that Rise and Forza on it.
Okay, maybe you'll be able to get the final question then. But anyways, when did the Xbox One launch? Month and year is all you got to get me. If you get a bonus point if you get the day. Okay.
2007.
Okay. That's totally wrong.
Is it?
Anyways, yeah. So you're 0 for
2004.
Right now. Nope. The Xbox One. You jackal.
2000.
We are still playing Xbox One X.
2013.
I can't give it to you at this point, man.
April.
You finally got 4 tries. April.
July.
Okay. No, November 22nd, 2013. You see any pattern here? November 15th, 2001.
I was trying to do the math.
22nd, 2005.
I said 2007. I was trying to think 7 years back for some reason.
Of 2020 is 2007.
Yeah.
7 subtract 20.
Clearly.
Okay.
Clearly.
Okay. Hopefully you can get this. This is up to 9 points in this. You're not doing good to get the total 15. But anyways, you might be able to redeem yourself here. There were, name 5. All you have to get is 5 to get full points. But name the Xbox One exclusive launch titles. There are 9 of them. If you can name all 9, you get bonus points. There are 9 exclusive launch titles that launched with the Xbox One.
Rise, Son of Rome.
Okay. You got it. That's 1.
Forza.
Which number?
5.
Okay. You got 2. Come on. Don't dilly-dally.
Oh, my gosh. I don't know.
Some of these are crazy easy. Come on.
No, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I only bought. Are you sure there's 9 games at launch?
There are. If you want, I'm going to read them all to you. So yes, there are 9. You want to try at least one more? So I can give you a couple points more. Just try. There's no problem with wrong answers.
Gears.
Think. Okay. No.
Think what?
You idiot, that was a wrong answer. No, I'm just joking. Come on, try another one. I'll give you a hint. There's one where a character has wheels that came out. It was a really weird game.
Cars.
I want to say I want to say the character is either on a wheeled thing or is a wheeled thing. It's like a vehicle of some sort. There are 2 wheels on this vehicle.
I give up. Tell me.
Okay, never mind. Okay, let me first read you these, and then I'll tally your total. Okay, so the 9 exclusive launch titles were Crimson Dragon. I don't know if you remember that. That was like a shooting game where you fly a dragon around. It was kind of a spiritual sequel to Panzer Dragoon.
Yeah.
And it might have been Crimson Dragoon. No, I think it's Crimson Dragon. Number 2, Dead Rising 3. I cannot believe you forgot this game.
Gosh.
That was so big. I thought that was the biggest title, like launched with the Xbox One. Number 3, Killer Instinct. I don't know how you forgot that. They're free to play foray into fighting.
Killer Instinct was like U2's album that they forced everybody to get on iTunes. They just kind of like shoved it into your Xbox account.
No, what are you talking about? You had to download it still, but it was very good. Number 4, Loco Cycle. That was the game I was trying to give you the hints for.
Yeah,
you don't remember that weirdo
everybody
game?
has played that game. Yeah, that makes sense.
Everybody knows Loco Cycle. Number 5, this one I didn't remember, Power Star Golf. Do you know that?
No.
Anyways, it came out the same time as Xbox One. Number 6, Rise, Son of Rome. Number 7, Forza 5. Number 8, Fighter Within. It was a Kinect game. Does that ring a bell?
No.
Okay. And then number 9, Xbox Fitness. So that was also a Kinect game. You
that
could
would
have
explain why I didn't know it, because I don't do a lot of fitness.
Okay, so we got 4.5 out of 15. So we'll see if you can beat that next time we do a quiz. The number to beat is 4.5 out of 15, and an F minus minus. It's the lowest F I could possibly bestow on you. Anyways, the reason why I chose some of those Xbox questions is just kind of to show you how weird this launch is, with there pretty much being no exclusives.
Yeah.
The only thing that's been consistent is Microsoft always launches in November. And the other thing is the price. Besides the 500, or actually, honestly, their prices are exactly to par. Their first two were 300. Their third one was 500. So this time coming out, they have a $300 and a $500 model. So, yeah, my man, feel ashamed of yourself. Do some video game research for once in your GD life. I don't even know what I got to do to help you out here. Making you real sad and real sick.
The character with the wheels.
I don't know. I feel like Loco Cycle, the guy is a vehicle. I just remember looking at it and it looks so stupid.
It's because like every time we talk about games, I'm like, oh, hey, do you remember on Loco Cycle when this happened? Yeah.
That's the number one game. Okay, so he is riding a motorcycle thing, but he also does like weird tricks where he puts himself in the wheel and then hangs off the back. That's why I always thought he was a motorcycle, because it made no sense.
Yeah.
Is literally, there's a picture if you type Loco Cycle Xbox where his leg is under the tire, and that's how he's supposedly holding on to the motorcycle. I didn't play it. Twisted Pixel launched it though. Yeah, man. So there you go. You got to do your research now. As punishment, you have to play Loco Cycle to completion. So over and over and over again. Okay. So give me 100 Hail Loco Cycles, and then we can end the day. Anything else before we head out for the day?
I think that's it, man. I think
Okay.
that's what I know.
That's what you know. Not a lot. That's the main thing we learned today.
Apparently.
I'll do a baby's first quiz next time, okay?
I appreciate that.
What game does Super Mario Brothers come from?
Pokemon.
Pokemon. I'm just messing with you, man. You can quiz me sometime too, and I'll have a blast. I love quizzes.
All right, you got it.
Okay. You got to watch. You make like the most ridiculously difficult quiz that no one could ever get.
I get you with some brain busters.
This character Nekunaru comes from which title that was only released in Japan?
How many dots on the Pac-Man map?
Oh, man. All right, dude. Well, till we meet again and then we know everything about these next-gen consoles, I will talk to you soon.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh, yeah.